Okay, so it looks like this is everyone now for the webinar. I would like to welcome everybody. So let's start. So for today's webinar, we will be covering what's new with the FileCloud Drive interface. We'll go through just a list of enhancements and bug fixes. And in the demo, we'll be navigating through the FileCloud Drive setup wizard and the new interface as well. So what's new with the FileCloud Drive interface? So of course we've got a FileCloud Drive interface or a new FileCloud Drive interface. So we've revamped the old UI to the new UI. It would look similar to FileCloud Sync if you guys have used the newer version of FileCloud Sync. It's There's a resemblance, and so we've got some bug fixes. Also, one big update for FileCloud Drive is that it now supports Big Sur running on Apple Silicon. I've included a link here. We will send you a copy of the slides. So for those who have registered for the webinar, we will be sending out to you after the call or after the webinar. And of course, I'll show you the login and the setup wizard for FileCloud Drive. So what are the enhancements and the bug fixes? One is that we've got the commit pending changes button. So we've brought it back from the old interface. And then we've also got some patch releases since we've released the major version for FileCloud Drive or the new version for FileCloud Drive. So a few of these are listed here. So we've got listings for the S3 network folders was failing. This was already fixed. We've got some issues with uploads on the network folder that's disappearing. This has been fixed. In the latest version, causing or the drive crash and as well as the file explorer that hangs have been fixed as well. In the latest version for FileCloud Drive, there was an issue with unable to lock files. This was fixed, and we've also introduced the ability to disable pre-caching. And this can be done on both the server-side configuration and the local configuration for FileCloud Drive. So now let's go through the demo. Here, I've already installed the latest version for FileCloud Drive. And like I said, if you've used the latest version for the FileCloud Sync, it would look similar where it would have a setup wizard instead of logging you in directly to the dashboard. So let's go through the wizard. So in the wizard, you'll be asked to first log in with your credentials connected to the server. You also have an option here for SSO where you can put in your SSO URL or yes, US SSO URL. You could also do device authentication. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to do a basic authentication for the FileCloud Drive. So I've got here my FileCloud server URL. And let me just log in with my password for this user. Next window is that you will be asked to actually adjust, or so this would give you the option to adjust the download rate limit. So by default, we've set it to 50. You could pull it down or increase the number, but for this demo, I'm just gonna set it as the default value here. Now, at this point, or for the third window in the wizard, it gives you the option on where you wanted to mount, what drive letter you wanted to mount the FileCloud Drive. It would also ask you if you want to configure a recovery folder. So by default, it's actually here in the roaming or the app data folder for the user. You could also mute all notifications from here, lock Office files automatically once you start editing it, um, and also run Windows startup. So if you want to FileCloud Drive to always be running in the background after your restart, and this is also enabled by default. And then lastly, you could start using Drive here. When you click on Start Using Drive, it should open up the FileCloud Drive dashboard, which I will show you shortly. Okay. So aside from, so this is how it looks like for the new FileCloud Drive dashboard. So you'll have menus here on the bottom. Let's start from the top so you can see your name as usual. When you click enter drop down, so you still have the open website, which basically opens up um, the FileCloud website or the web user interface. Um, you could also check for updates. Will it basically would just look for updates if there's anything or if there's any update available, and it will download the update into your local computer. And then of course you've got help over here, which shows you the version. And lastly, you've got the logout button. So down below, the first screen or the first screen that you would be seeing would be the live menu or the live screen. Basically, if you've got uploads being brought into the FileCloud Drive, you could see the uploads going on in here. So if you're uploading any file, so let's do that one here. So this is, I've already opened up my FileCloud Drive. So alternatively, you could click this folder button and it should open up the your Windows Explorer leading up to your FileCloud Drive interface. So let me go into my files here and go to tests, and then let me open up a let me do an upload. Um, just checking something here, just a basic file that we have. Okay, I've got an Excel file that I'm dropping into my test folder, and you should be able to see the live action going on here. So it was a quick one because it was actually a fairly small file, but if the files are larger, the activities would also be showing up in here. It's the same as the file operations as what you would be seeing from the web user interface. So if I also download the file, I should be able to see activities in here. Hold on for a bit, sorry. I'll get back to you with the download, by the way. I was kind of used to using the web user interface. So let's go into the activities. So what you would be seeing in the activities is once you've logged into FileCloud Drive, you can see each of the calls that's going on from the FileCloud Drive client into the server. So you can see here from the bottom, it's trying to verify the connection. You'll see setting up the local storage after you've set a folder, a drive letter. It's adding the mounting point, mounted a disk. I was able to upload the file from earlier. So you could see this from the dashboard already under activity. Other options that you could see that you could use from the FileCloud Drive interface is the search button. So when you're running searches, you could do advanced search over here. You could either run searches from name for the file names or maybe contents of the file. So I could do all contents. If I do have content search enabled, I could run searches for content. I could also run searches based on metadata values. Um, Let me just scroll down a little bit here where you could pick what metadata values you would be looking for. So let's say, for example, I have this metadata tag. I want to set to yes. And I wanted to return all documents with the metadata from the conditions above. So I could run a start search and it should return documents for me based on the search criteria, just like this one. And then lastly, you have the settings button. So from the settings button, you could enable download limit, or you could set a download limit, or you could disable it entirely. But sometimes it's recommended to keep the setting as it is, or keep the download limit enabled. This is for in case users are downloading larger files. This may help with performance. Also, from the options that you saw from the wizard earlier are also available under settings, so you can mute all notifications from here. Automatically lock documents when you're editing it. If you also wanted to disable document IQ, if you want to run FileCloud Drive on Windows Startup, and also show the dashboard every time you start up FileCloud Drive. and also open up the Explorer. So basically, these behaviors earlier is that once I've logged into FileCloud Drive, it automatically opened up my FileCloud Drive interface or the Explorer, and it also opened up the dashboard. So these are the last two options here. You could also clear the cache from the dashboard. You could also get the log files. And also, lastly, this is what I mentioned from the enhancements is that the commit pending changes is back, or the button is back. So in case users was doing something, was making some modifications to a document with using FileCloud Drive, and connection was lost, and when the connection got back in, or when the user was able to go online again, they could click on commit pending changes to the server, basically submitting the changes that were not submitted into the server during the connection loss. Okay. And yes, so far, basically that's it. Let me give you guys a couple of minutes. I'm also going to check on the download option that I missed earlier. So I wanted to show you that one. If not, we could get back to you with some instructions on an email together with the slides. So I'm ready for your questions. Okay. We have a question here from Claudio. Is there any compatibility concern with FileCloud Drive server on premise? So far, I have not seen any reports about any issues with running FileCloud Drive with server and the online instances. Okay, it looks like we don't have any more questions. I appreciate everyone for joining and for registering. We will send you a copy of the slides since I've included a link there, and also a copy of the recording for this session. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining. And before we go, don't forget, you could always, if you missed out on the webinar, you could also get an email from us, or you could go to our videos page, which is getfilecloud.com /filecloud dash tutorial dash videos. We upload the webinars in the page or in the website. You could also reach out to support@codelate.com if there's anything, if you need any troubleshooting, if you need any support assistance from us, or you could also go to getfilecloud.com/support docs for our support documentation. Everyone have a wonderful day and have a great week ahead.